Okay, Tom Garriman, sales representative at Apex Results Realty, located in Burlington, Ontario. I operate from Grimsby through to West Mississauga. So, July 14th, 2016, we've just come off of what I would consider to be the second year in a row where the spring market has just been absolutely insane for our market. Last year, they are saying we had something like a 16% jump in housing prices over this time frame. Now, that was in Toronto proper, but there's a ripple effect out, and that impact was felt in Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, and even in Hamilton now. So, July 14th, we're starting to see the market slow down a little bit now, a little bit, not completely dead yet, but is slowing down because people who had purchased, those people who they sold had to buy. Most of them are settled now. People are still doing business, but it's a little bit slower. You'll find if the property is all finished, mechanical systems are relatively new, and by relatively I mean within 2 or 3 years, the roof is good, the interior has been finished and everything else, then the returns are most assuredly there. Otherwise, it's starting to slow down just a little bit, but area is also important with that. Because what's happened, of course, I've seen 1 or 2 houses need a lot of work, but they're in the right area. Now, they did sell for less, but they were priced for less in the first place. They shouldn't have gone for as much as they did, but it is the area, and the area has to be hot. Anyway, so what we have here is interest rates. I don't even know why you say it anymore. Historically low. They haven't gone up. The banks themselves are looking at tightening up controls a little bit more. If you're looking at purchasing an investment property and you only want to put down the bare minimum, you may not want to tell them you're purchasing an investment property. You may want to actually, there's ways around it that are legal if you're buying one. If you're buying 2 or 3 properties, if you're getting yourself in that situation, I'm not sure if that's appropriate right now. You know what? I can take a step back. Important part. Interest rates are historically low. Second, inventory. Not enough properties on the market. 3rd year in a row. This means we have increasing prices. First-time home buyer buys an apartment. The apartment seller turns around and buys with the fiancé the house. Those people who bought the house are now selling it, and now they're turning around and going for the bigger house. And at some points, there were just choke points. So instead of having 10 properties for sale, the old example in a neighborhood, there'd be 10 properties for sale, and right now you're looking and you see 3. Or you see 5. Now there were 10, today there's 5. Normally 10 would be normal, that'd be good. 5. So you go out along with 7 other people in the area to purchase, and then someone comes in from out of area. So if you're in Hamilton or Burlington, possibly someone's coming in from a bit further east of you. It could be Toronto, don't bank on it, but it could be Oakville, it could be just out of the area. And those people, if they come from the east, closer to Toronto, are used to paying more. So what we've had so far this year is really large prices. Now, given privacy and the restrictions, I don't want to give away specifics on transactions I've done, but I listed a property, and after looking at recent sales, we'd agreed after a few days that perhaps it was a little bit overpriced, not much, just a little, and we would see an offer soon. I hadn't put no offers for 4 days or anything like that, nothing silly. And then suddenly we had an offer. Then there were 2 offers. Then there were 3 offers, and the house sold for well over list price. Nicely finished, well maintained, no problems, no complaints, and it went for well over. Cash, no inspection, no finance, no insurance, nothing else. So my clients were very happy. Now I do tend to specialize, or I've worked at specializing because I have more patience with first-time home buyers. Need to show them what they need versus what they want, and what will be good for them for long term. Haven't been able to find first-time home buyers places. A lot of other realtors are in the same boat. First-time buyer goes out and they're putting in 5 or 6 offers, and they would lose them all. So now Everyone is trained, including the realtors getting trained. When you see a listing, and you go in, you hear there's multiple offers, you automatically go well over list price. Cash, and when I say well over, picture anywhere from 6 to 10%. There have been a few less, but I've seen 6 to 10%. So if you're in that group that keeps seeing things listing 203 and they sell 220, 350, and it sells for 399, you know off the top after 2 or 3 of those, you're gonna have to go higher. But that is not normal. That is a bit of a real estate bubble, a little bit. The prices are inflated because supply and demand, and this could change. Fall could hit, which is our next big market. Right now it's summer, we should be slowing down. I know I have. But when the fall market hits, there should be an influx of listings, and people are looking because, summer's over, everyone takes the summer off. Kids are out of school, the adults want to have time themselves. They're tired of looking usually. Summer's nice. September, October is when people are looking, and by end of November, people are starting to wrap it up. Given this market, we don't know how that's going to go. Crystal ball. Okay, so the government's talking to CMHC about trying to figure out ways to slow the market. The hot markets in Canada are the Toronto region, GTA, Vancouver, and a few others. If you go further out, you'll find the prices are not going up as much as they are or they were. In fact, there are places where housing prices have leveled out or even come down a little bit. Now, if you happen to have been working on the oil sands, it's horrible to say, but the prices there have dropped a good bit. So, what's going to happen? If the government does get involved and attempt to use monetary policy, interest rates, talk about changing minimum requirements, if they put 10% minimum down for home buyers to get into the market, as first-time home buyers, up from 5%, it'll have an impact. Housing prices in certain areas that were so high, downtown Toronto, parents are taking money out of their house in equity, and they're turning around and giving their kids like $100,000, so they actually have 20% down, because that way they're no longer high ratio. Because when you're purchasing a $600,000 home, and that's a starter, then you cannot purchase anymore with 5% down, not as a first-time home buyer. Anyway, what's going to come? We need to see an adjustment at some point. There's a lot the government can do to put the brakes on. Anything they do, they have to carefully evaluate, because if they put the brakes on too hard, the market will jerk, kind of like you're trying to drive a stick shift, and it'll slam. And if they're not careful, it can have a ripple effect. You damage the housing market, you damage the rest of the markets out there, you hurt the economy, and then now you're struggling into a recession. So what I think is going to happen is the government's going to look at more ways to try to slow the market. It is hot. They are doing little nudges. My concern will be if they do something big. 20% down. Minimum to purchase. Or that would be crazy. But if they went 10%, it's going to have an impact. People will still get in the market. It will slow the market most assuredly. But they cannot do it just for the GTA or Vancouver. They'd have to sort of do it for Canada. So, I tell all my clients this: when you purchase a property, make sure you're well situated. Realize that the market right now is going up. If it continues, and you buy now, if the market goes up 10% a year for 3 years and you lose 25%, you're still ahead. If you buy now and you get multiple competition and you're paying top dollar, and that adjustment hits next spring or January 31st, 2017, then you would be technically burned for a short time. Now understand, if you still live there, if you're still paying the mortgage, if you still intend to live there, it doesn't matter. Now my clients tend not to call me back to move that often, because they're set up for usually 7 to 12 years, it appears. So what I would suggest is make sure if you are going to purchase, you're well situated. You can carry that mortgage. If you're both working and both have to continue working full time and you're struggling to get by, don't purchase. Rent for a little bit longer, live with parents, whatever. Put more money away. Wait for the market to adjust. Look elsewhere. Other options. Saying I want to purchase a detached house in downtown Toronto, and you make a combined income between two of you of $90,000, you're probably not going to do it right now. Okay? So, be careful. Make sure you're situated properly. You can live there for the next 5 to 10 years. If you've got children right now, you don't need a detached. You could do a townhouse. But again, get yourself properly situated. Have the money for the deposit. Have the money for your closing costs. Know your financing back and forth. Do not go and compete in multiple offers. Wait. You compete in multiple offers right now, and you go over list price, banks are getting a bit twitchier. Lenders are getting a bit twitchier about approving all of those, especially when they're going over by 10 or 15%. So you may not get that property anyway, unless you have the extra cash yourself. So be careful, make sure you're well situated, and no matter what else happens in the future, if you could sit down, look at your spouse, and say, you know what, we can do this. One of us can stay at home and raise a child, then you're covered. Harder and harder these days to find that. Next thing, first-time home buyers. There's nothing wrong with buying an apartment. Be aware condo fees always go up. And if you have to stretch yourself to get a 2-bedroom versus a 1-bedroom, the 2-bedroom may offer you a bit more, because how much can you get? Well, how much will a roommate pay you per month for a room in that area? Consider it. A lot of people tell me, no, never do that. People who get ahead tend to have tenants, or at least the option of it. Plus, if you have 2 bedrooms, if you are single and you meet somebody, getting married, and you have a child, you can actually have a child in an apartment. Been done for years. I've seen people with 2 kids in apartments. Things to consider. Anyway, I hope it's helped. The market is hot right now. It is cooling down. I don't want to cry wolf or the sky's falling, but it could happen. I'm doubting it. The government so far hasn't done anything because I know the impact it'll have on the overall economy we have. Anyway, I've gone on for way too long. I apologize. You take care. Have yourselves a great summer. Enjoy the beautiful sun. I'm going to go outside and sunburn myself in a few minutes. You know what? No matter what else, always stay positive.